I can't wait for our 70th subscriber.
Yes, it's you. Where are you out there, number 70? Push the button.
Introduce yourself.
Oh, that's right. What's up, everybody? I'm Brad.
And I'm Sean.
I'm coming to you from a distance in Nashville, Tennessee, in my basement with my toys. Got Prison Hillary back there, and I'm drinking black tea with some cinnamon on it.
I'm also coming at you from a distance in Charlotte, North Carolina. I'm in my office. I got my books, my movies, Baby Groot up there, and some animated movies behind me. If you like what you see today, please be sure to subscribe down below to be caught up on all of our latest weekly content.
Well, today we have our fourth video in our series called The Last 10 Years. It's up there somewhere. Today we're going to be doing our top 10 animated movies of the last 10 years. Sean's going to kick it off. What you got for number 10?
All right, number 10, I've got Moana. This movie has a 96% on Rotten Tomatoes. It was a really good one. Pixar never really lets down unless it's like Cars 2 or something like that. But this one is a nice tale about coming of age and finding your own adventure. And it has some great music numbers and some great villains. All right, Brad, what do you got for number 10?
I've got 2014's Big Hero 6. I saw this movie in the theater with my two older kids. This movie held my attention the entire time. It was a solid mix of adult and children's humor. Once you get past the tragic death of a family member, this is a fun and playful movie that I'll watch for years to come, and it's got an 89 on Rotten Tomatoes. And now it's time for my number 9. I have How to Train Your Dragon 2 from 2014. I saw this one with my wife, and at the time, only 2 kids, way back in the day. I don't remember a ton about this, other than a major character death. Spoiler alert, but I recall that the action scenes at the end were amazing. Has a 92 on Rotten Tomatoes. Sean, what you got for number 9?
Man, I've heard great things about the Train Your Dragon series, but sadly I haven't seen any of them.
Oh my God.
All right, so number 9, I've got Dragon Ball Z Battle of the Gods. This one has an 88% on Rotten Tomatoes, and I love this one purely because it brought back nostalgia of being a kid and watching Dragon Ball Z. This brought back the creator, and it spawned a new show entirely after this movie came out. So go check it out. Moving right along, number 8, I have Coco. This one has a 97% on Rotten Tomatoes. Another great Pixar Disney movie. This one's about a kid who's really good at guitar and goes into the underworld to find his dad or one of his family members. I had a really great time with this one, and like I said before, it has some great music in this one. Brad, what do you got for number 8?
All right, my number 8 came out last year. It's Toy Story 4. This movie just came out, and I'm just saying it was excellent. You can see it mentioned in my top 10 of 2019 up there. Saw this with my wife and all 4 of my kids. This movie takes the franchise in a totally different direction and definitely ended on an unexpected note. It's got a 97 on Rotten Tomatoes. So now for my number 7. This is 2018's Incredibles 2. I cannot believe it's already been technically 2 years since this movie came out. I saw this in the theater with me and my wife and all 4 of my kids, and we had a blast. When it was over, I felt like I actually enjoyed it more than I did the first one. I'm still not quite sure, but it's basically exactly what we were expecting. It has a 94 on Rotten Tomatoes. Sean, what do you got for number 7?
All right, number 7, I have Zootopia. This one has a 98% on Rotten Tomatoes, and I sound like a broken record, but great music in this one as well. I remember a lot of the upbeat soundtracks of this one. This one's nice because it's a mystery involved with all these animals in this perfect kingdom city that's not perfect on the inside. But going right along, at number 6, I've got Wreck-It Ralph, the first one. I'm a sucker for old school video games, and this one took the nostalgia of that all the way up. It's got an 87% on Rotten Tomatoes. Such an original idea, and I just love the heart behind it, that Ralph he doesn't want to be the bad guy. He wants to be the good guy. So this was a great movie. Go and check it out. Brad, what do you have at number 6?
All right, for number 6, this list really starts to tighten up around here for me. But for number 6, I have, once again, I can't believe it's been 2 years on the calendar, 2018's Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse. This was so unexpected. I did not expect this to be so awesome. I saw this in the theater with my daughter and my middle son. Everybody knows, I mean, I know Sean's shaking his head over there, but everybody knows that I'm not a huge Spider-Man fan. So naturally, I waited until this one was about to leave the theater. But when it was done, I wished I had seen it earlier, and I also wished I had seen it in 3D. Tons of fun, and a very high entry in artistic quality on this list. 97 on Rotten Tomatoes. Moving on to number 5, I have 2012's Wreck-It Ralph. Like Sean said, it was an instant classic. I watched this one a ton of times. Saw this in the theater. I love the nostalgic video game characters. I love the visuals. This movie is like almost perfect. I'm actually surprised that it has an 87 on Rotten Tomatoes. I feel like it's better than an 87. But a great story, tons of laughs, and I actually want to watch it right now.
For number 5, I've got one that you already mentioned. It's The Incredibles 2. This one has a 94% on Rotten Tomatoes, like you said. This one took forever to get a sequel. I don't know why. It's like Pixar just makes new movies that we don't want to see and takes forever on the sequels of the movies that they should have made a long time ago.
Sorry,
but this one picks up
throwing shade at The Good Dinosaur. Slow down over there, man.
Never seen it. But this one picks up right after the first Incredibles, and it's perfect from the beginning to the end. I'd say that it's right up there, like Brad said, on par, if it does not surpass the first Incredibles. And then for number 4, I have Kubo and the Two Strings. Nice. This one is a claymation movie. Have you seen this one, Brad? I don't know. Okay, but this one is just very cool. I love the animation style. This one has a very good story and some really cool visuals and music. Brad, this one had a 97% on Rotten Tomatoes.
Heck yeah. For number 4, I have 2016's Moana. Dude, the whole way through my first viewing of this, I knew it was a special movie. The Rock is hilarious. It has the best songs, I think, of any movie on this whole list. And I love that Moana is like just a young, believable, strong female heroine. The only weakness this movie had for me, like when I think back about it, is the final villain standoff. It was good, but I just didn't think it was great. I saw this, just me and my daughter, in the theater, and it has a 96 on Rotten Tomatoes. Woo! Now it's time to creep into the top 3, but before I do, I just want to take a moment on behalf of Sean and our channel to thank everybody for watching our videos. We appreciate you guys so much, and we hope that you are really enjoying the content. So for number 3, oh man, Toy Story 3 from 2010.
Oh man.
So we have now entered into the grown man crying section of this list, okay? This movie was so intense. The perfect ending to the Andy trilogy. This movie is super heartbreaking. The evil purple Lotso bear is totally terrifying. The incinerator scene makes this movie feel like it should be rated R. It's so intense.
Yeah.
I literally thought they were gonna kill off all of our friends. Has a 98 on Rotten Tomatoes.
My number 3 is Big Hero 6. This one has an 89% on Rotten Tomatoes. Like Brad said, it has a very tragic death at the beginning of the movie, but I love how it takes our hero and he comes out of that and goes and takes his brother's creation to do good, and it's just a really fun movie. I love Baymax and Hero in this movie. Going right into number 2, coming right down to the end here, I have Toy Story 3. Like Brad said, this has a 98% on Rotten Tomatoes. This movie was great. I haven't seen it for a while. I'm definitely due for a rewatch. But everything that Brad said, I second that. It was perfect, a perfect closeout to the Andy trilogy, and it maybe made me cry just a little bit. I haven't seen Toy Story 4 yet.
Come on, man. I think it's on video now. I think it's out on VHS. Freaking watch the movie.
I'm waiting for Disney Plus.
So cheap. This guy.
Brad, what do you got for number 2?
The gap between all the other movies I've said so far and my number 2 and 1 is like massive, wide margin for me. Number 2 is 2015's Inside Out. Oh boy. I saw this with my 2 older kids in the theater, and I honestly don't ever intend to watch it again. It's just too real, man. It's too real. Crying in the theater. I couldn't even make eye contact with my own children afterwards. All I gotta say is rip, bing bong, rip. A Pixar masterpiece. 98 on Rotten Tomatoes. Okay, so now it's time for our honorable mentions. We're gonna go through these very, very fast. I have 5 and Sean has
4.
4. I snuck one on at the last second. I didn't even tell him. I just couldn't cut Boss Baby. Okay, from 2017. Alec Baldwin is so great as a comedic actor and nothing else. Okay, don't do anything else. Next, I have Frozen. This movie is great, but it's just time to let this movie go. Okay? It's great. Then I have Despicable Me from 2010. I wish I could put this higher, but Minions. Next, I have Lego Movie. I wish this had been a list of 11. This would have been for sure been my next into my top 10, 11 list. It would totally be there. It's from 2014. And then my last honorable mention, a major artistic nod here. This movie is a little too deep for kids, and I think it might be a little too deep for adults too. It's Kubo and the Two Strings from 2016. I love that movie. It's just I don't know, something about it didn't totally connect perfectly. What do you have for your honorable mentions?
So for my honorable mentions, I have Hotel Transylvania. This one was an Adam Sandler movie. It came out a while back about Dracula and all the other monsters living in a hotel together. I don't know what it is, but I just like monster movies, and a funny one in a hotel, I was down for it. It wasn't the perfect movie. It's an Adam Sandler movie, but I had a really good time with it. Next, I have one that I didn't know if it qualified as an animated movie, because it's Jungle Book, the remake. I mean, it has one kid in it that's a human, but the rest of it is animated.
Cheater.
It looks realistic. It's an honorable mention, okay?
Okay.
But this one was really good. Jungle Book, it was good. Next, I have Lego Movie. Like Brad said, this would probably be number 11. It was a really fun movie, but it didn't make my top 10 because the other ones just hit me harder. And then lastly, I have Finding Dory. This one was a sequel to Finding Nemo. It was really good, really heartfelt, but it was just more of what I had seen in the other one. Didn't really do much more for me.
Now it's time for the moment everyone's been waiting for. Us to flip a coin off camera.
Tails!
Oh!
I go first.
Sean gets to go first. Sean, tell us what your number 1 animated movie in the last 10 years is. Go.
My number 1 movie is my number 1 favorite superhero. It's Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse.
Nice.
This one has a 97% on Rotten Tomatoes. I wasn't really sure what to think about this movie when I saw the trailers, but I knew that the artistic value of it was awesome. It looks straight ripped out of the comic book and brought to life. I loved Miles Morales and his story and his family dynamic with his dad and his uncle, and then I loved Peter B. Parker, the fallen Peter Parker that made a lot of bad choices. He was so funny, very good, and heartfelt. You felt bad for him. This one was perfect for me, and I can't wait to see a sequel. Brad, what do you have for number 1? I've been waiting. Let's hear it.
My number 1 is so obvious. I can't even say it. I can't even barely say it without weeping, okay? 2017's Coco, by a very large margin. My number 1 and number 2 are set apart from these other movies. This is actually one of my favorite movies of the last 10 years, period. I took my daughter to this, not knowing, spoiler alert, this is a father-daughter dramatic gut punch movie, okay? I'm being honest, I cried, I bawled in the theater next to my baby girl for this one, okay? I'm just bearing all for y'all, okay? My favorite theme song of any of these movies, it pulls on the heartstrings in an aggressive fashion. I watched this last month, again, and you guessed it, cried like a newborn baby. So good, 97 on Rotten Tomatoes. Now it's time to reveal our Rotten Tomatoes winner. Sean, what do you have for your percentage?
All right, this is going to be close, Brad, but I have a 94%.
I beat him! I have a 94.5. I got you this time.
No, that doesn't mean that you've won the comments battle down below. So please make sure that you vote down below. Let us know who you thought won the top favorite animated movies for the past 10 years. Don't listen to Brad. But thank you so much for watching today, and make sure you also smash that like button, like Brad always says. But make sure when you're watching, you always do it from a distance.